Now, earlier this week, Love Island All-Stars returned to our screens with former contestants back in the villa for a second chance at romance, including Ekin-Su, who fans will remember won the show back in 2022 with her now ex-boyfriend, Davide. So, when it comes to finding love, is it just harder than we all think? Look, they've all gone back in again for a second go, a third go.
Not that easy.
Yeah, it's not that easy. Even for beautiful young people.
Reassuring.
I think when I met my husband, we were living in completely different countries. So we were communicating, I say communicating, a lot of translation by his sister. We didn't speak the same language when we first met.
Like, not at all.
Not hardly at all. He had a little pocket dictionary. And we did speak the language of love when we met up. And I made sure we got that out of the way to make sure there was some chemistry there. and everything there was completely fine. And the rest of it we just worked on. But I think my husband's love language is cooking. He loves to cook for me every night.
Oh. Yeah, because there's 5 love languages, apparently.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
What are they?
OK, so there is words of affirmation, so talk, chat, time together, phone off, quality time, touch. She speaks that language. Here's my one, acts of service, so like a cup of tea.
So that would be like having your dinner made for you.
Yeah.
I'm a butler, Miley.
And the last one is presents, receiving gifts. So those are like the 5 main languages. No, same. So yours was food and...
I think ours was being together. I think because he's Italian, he's got that kind of French... He grew up in France, but he's Italian.
Oh,
it's very... Yeah, that's the night before we got married.
So beautiful.
I think he's really family-orientated, so for him it is phones down, cooking and being together and having, like, breakfast, lunch and dinner together, and that, for him, is, like, everything. And we really try and stick by that. Like, very rarely are we apart for dinner, so... Or lunch, even.
I think people don't use the word enough, cherished.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, and I say this to my daughters all the time, oh, do you feel cherished? And it's all right to say that to somebody else. And I suppose that's kind of love language. What makes you... That sounds like he cherishes you, that you're somebody that's really important to you and that you feel that on a regular basis. And that can be in any way. For me, it would never be gifts. Gifts, to me, are easy. Presents, that I've never seen that as an act of love. No. But I do think it's like actually doing those things and noticing when you might be sad or noticing when somebody might have said something that hurt you that you wouldn't even say it yourself. I think that, to me, is what love feels like.
They say love is knowing how to break somebody and having the power to break someone and never using it.
Oh,
so
that's an interesting way to...
Well, it is, because you think if, for example... Because
you know them so well,
you know them so well, you know how to take care of them.
Right.
So if lying to somebody would break them, then you don't lie. It's things like that. So understanding that language.
Yeah, it's protecting each other, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like looking after each other and being there together and not wanting to hurt each other or be in competition with each other. And if someo's down, you don't add to it, you bring them up.
Yeah.
It's that kind
the team element, isn't it? When you
what about your fella?
Yeah, what made you fall in love with him?
Have you heard her date night's like something out of a movie?
Is it? Tell us.
No.
Well, it brings you wine.
No, he's very good. Like, he's... You know, he's just very thoughtful, like you say, and it's the cherish thing. He really is. He's very good, and even if we're going out somewhere and we're getting ready, and you know, you get a little bit excited about going out. And we never go out anymore, but when you do, it's lovely. And he'll maybe come up with a little glass of champagne for me when I'm putting makeup on. I know it sounds so silly and simple.
No, it doesn't. It sounds lovely.
Little.
Everyone
tiny little simple things. The books. So he's the organizer, so I would never go anywhere without him. So, but I also really appreciate it. I don't take any of that for granted at all.
When did you think, oh, I've fallen in love?
Laughter. Well, first you got to fancy someone. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
I'm going to go into Love Island. If Maya wants to call me, I'll come in and tell them all.
You got to have a
Basically,
connection.
you got to fancy proper. You got to have a connection.
But did you have
and
a
then
moment?
You got to have. I remember having a real moment, and my sister brought it up at our wedding when she did a speech, and we both laughed at something together. That we just kind of got the joke and no one sort of else at the table did, but we both got it. It's such a silly thing, it's too long to even explain. And we had this little moment of, oh, you got that and I got that. And we were properly laughing. And laughter, the ability to laugh together and have fun is essential for me. Nothing would ever go any further.
I love that.
Honestly, being able to have a proper laugh. And you don't need anybody else. That's the thing.
So that's probably where Love Island...
but happy at home.
That's probably where Love Island's going wrong, dare I say.
Too much company. Too many people.
No, but it's all just on the external, isn't it?
Yeah, that
but
is
it's not
it.
on working on, you know, the trickier bit.
But then when you hear them
holding
doing
on to that,
holding on to exactly.
Yeah,
sure.
We like to go on these holidays. I call them like marriage-saving holidays, where you know we are not sleeping in like our own house and doing the day-to-day chores. It's like romantic, and I make sure that it's just me and him, without the dog, without family. We just spent Christmas with his family, and it's so important that we just go away together and be a married couple and go for dinner together, because you just don't do that day-to-day when you're at home.
Yeah,
that is difficult, isn't it? To kind of make it like romantic.
You can become a bit like tenants with each other, or flatmates.
Housemates.
Who's doing the water? Who's on the dog's food on the floor? And it's so that's why we tend to get on better when we're away from all of that.